Welcome to episode 77 of the Bold Life Movement podcast. This is Uncut with Kim and Katie B. For all the show notes, head to theboldlifemovement.com/077. I'm so nervous right now.
Oh, you have nothing to be nervous about. Okay, we'll start this again. We already intro, but we had to redo the call. So what's happening today, or welcome to the final episode of Uncut with Katie and Kim, or Kim and Katie, however you want to say it.
It's Kim and Katie on the Bold Life Movement.
Sorry. How could I be so delusional? So it's the final episode, and well, we might do more. That's to be determined, but I think we probably will end up doing more. And so this episode is, like we talked about in the first episode, I'm going to be, so for those of you who don't know, I'm Katie. I'm from the Real Rebel podcast, which is on pause right now, side note. But one thing that I can do, which I don't know where this came from, but I can energetically scan people and kind of do readings, or I guess intuitive readings, and I get like visions, I get feelings, I get words, and I just tune into the person and I scan them, and that is what we're doing for Kim today.
Yeah.
So we just thought this would be something fun to do, and
I'm nervous because I don't know what she saw in her visions. I don't know what she felt in her scan, and this is live on air. Well, not live, but recorded. Yeah. And I don't know how personal we're about to get. So,
well, I mean, personal because, you're essentially like I communicate what I think is with your guides, and just get downloads or from the universe or whatever you want to. I don't know. I don't care what you call it. I get some kind of a download. It's like a message for you. Yeah. Do you want to just dive right into it?
Give me that message, girl.
Okay. Well, okay. Before we do that, and you're about to get personal on this podcast, like because in order for this to work, you kind of have to actually tell me what's going on, which means you're telling the world what's going on. So no pressure on you.
Whoa.
And so maybe just give me like what's coming up for you right now. Let me know, and then we'll dive into what I saw.
So do you want to, before we do that, because I can feel cynics saying, well, if she tells you what's going on, then you'll just cater what you're saying to what she's said. So do you want to just kind of explain what you did before the show and how this process works and why you do it in the order you do? Because we've gone through this, but not on air.
Right. Okay. So basically what happens behind the scenes is like 15, 20 minutes before this call, I just kind of tapped into, and for the cynics out there, I know how this sounds. It sounds crazy, woo, like this chick is like off her freaking rock. And yes, it appears that way, but it is what it is. I have this intuitive ability for some reason. And so here it is. Basically, I tune into Kim's energy. So first I have to ask energetic permission, of course, to make sure that I'm not just like jumping into whoever's like energy that I so feel. I just get really quiet, almost like a meditative state, and I don't try for anything to happen. And then once you're in that kind of state, things just start popping into my head, and they're super weird and super random. But usually after I kind of look at them, I can kind of discern maybe this is what the message is, but sometimes I'm not always right. Sometimes I say it to someone and it means something totally different to them, and so but it all unfolds as it's supposed to. So basically that's what I did, and then a bunch of words came up, a bunch of images came up, and then
you have them all written down. Is that what you're looking over at?
Yeah, I have them all written down. What happened here? Sorry, my computer just did something weird. Yes. So then I do I do a physical scan if you're with me in person, but I didn't do that today because we're just going to go with like the energy, but I can also physically scan the body. I can scan it from a distance, but I just didn't do that today. I didn't like move energy. I can move energy and stuff from a distance for you, but I didn't do that today because for the sake of just for the sake of time. But I also
Straight
pulled
going.
some cards for you. I was going to only pull one, but after I pulled that one, it was very like kind of the vibe behind that card was like, this is the remnants of energy that is almost on its way out. And then it was asking to pull another for like what is now and more strong, which I did. And like, holy shit, was it ever on par, in my opinion. And then I have a word for you. One word. I have this other card that I pulled, and it's just one word, and we'll see what that means to you. So
I'm
essentially,
so excited.
the purpose of these sessions, and if you go to realrebelpodcast.com, you can go under services or whatever. And not that I'm like, whatever, like don't go. I'm not pushing it, but they're called Rebel Sessions, and the purpose is to reconnect yourself back with yourself quickly, and receive a bunch of downloads from yourself that you might not otherwise be tuned into,
Yeah.
so that you can move the fuck forward and like
Yeah.
get, you know what I mean? Like it's just, and I couple it with like some coaching and stuff, but it's just kind of like I'm a mirror, I'm a conduit, I'm something to like send the message through, and it's you who knows what to do with this information. So that's why sometimes it doesn't make any sense to me, but it
Yeah.
makes a little sense to me because I know you.
Right. And we talk offline, like you know what's going on with me.
Yeah.
So, just to give a little bit of context for people who are listening, the last time you did this for me, we were in person. You did both the scan ahead of time before you came to my hotel in Bali, which is the one that you've done for me tonight. And then you also did the body scan. And when we had our session afterwards, you know, which we're about to have on air, I felt so light after that. I felt so seen, so heard, so understood. And it was really like you were reflecting back to me things that I already know intuitively about myself, but need to hear from someone else. And so, you know, take it as you will, listeners.
Yeah, take it as you will. And
Yeah.
the reason for that lightness too is because I can do this from a distance also, but it's like the moving around of energy. Like I could feel certain blockages at certain parts. I could feel
Yeah.
certain parts were wanting like just attention and like love, and it wanted like a certain like vibe. It wanted and again, I'm very aware of how this sounds, but it just is, it is what it is. And that's
There are
why
going
you
to be people
like,
listening who eat up every word that you're saying. And then there are going to be people who are like, the fuck are these
this chick
chicks
is
on?
yeah,
And
yeah,
how
yeah.
do I get some?
Yeah, yeah.
Go.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is just going to be more of like, it's not me telling you anything that you on some level don't already know. And I'm not some kind of a wizard. I'm just like you are like, it's not I don't like it when like coaching becomes disempowering because someone else is like,
Right.
has to be there for you. It's like,
You would
no.
need me. Right.
Yeah, like this is just like I happen to be holding up a mirror for you, or I happen to
Totally.
be relaying some messages that you already know.
Do you
On
want to
that note,
touch real quick on why I'm telling you what's going on with me first before you say what you saw?
um,
Instead of you like saying what you saw and me being like, oh my God, that, you know.
yeah, I mean I could do that too, but I think that I've seen like there's things that I've written down here. They're here, like they're
Yeah,
written
yeah.
on my book. Like I can't change that, but it kind of helps me to make sense of this so
Right.
it can better help you because it's like there are certain things that when you're talking I might be like that's why I got that instead of me being like I saw a picture of a horse and you're like, well, I don't know what the fuck that means. But you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
it's I mean, and like I said, we could do it either way, it doesn't matter, but this is just more of like a easy way to do it, and it kind of
Yeah.
helps me to relay the message more clearly to you, whatever that may be. It
Cool.
clarifies it for me before I relay it to you.
For sure. And I get that. I just wanted you to communicate
Yeah.
that for the listeners.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because some of the stuff I get is totally random. Like the
Right.
first one on here is like bubbles, like blowing of the bubbles. So yeah, so go ahead. Why don't we just dive right in?
Um, so this is probably the part that I was nervous about.
Yeah, because you're being
Um,
real.
yeah. And I'm dropping a lot of ums. It's been an interesting weekend.
Hmm.
Yeah. I feel like I'm trying to pull from all facets of my life to censor what I want to share on air.
Mm.
But it's uncut, so I'm not supposed to censor anything.
Well, and this is actually very telling to something that comes up later. So continue
Yeah.
on.
Oh, God. So, and I'm also trying to protect people's privacy.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I'm, yeah, so give me a second. I totally forgot about this part of the process and didn't come prepared.
So you don't need to mention people's names.
Totally. No,
You
no, no.
can
I never,
mention the feeling, just even the
yes.
feeling,
Okay,
not even
so,
details of the situation.
oh, I like that. Okay. So there have been things that have gone on lately where I felt like I wasn't heard and I wasn't listened to.
Okay.
And it was really frustrating. And I felt like someone took something away from me without asking.
Mm.
And is really frustrating because now I have to have a conversation with this person and I don't want to have that conversation.
Hmm.
I don't like confrontation despite my assertiveness, and I just want everyone to like get along.
Mm.
So that's something I've been wrestling with this weekend, and it's pretty upsetting. I'm just in a situation that I haven't been in before. And part of me is like, wow, lessons abound here. This is
Mm.
part of your freaking mission that this happened to you, and it's important that it did so that you have this new perspective to add. But wow, I'm being so vague. It's okay though. It's probably for the best.
I think it's for the best.
Yeah, I think it's for the best. And people from my past reached out today, which you and I haven't even talked about yet,
Mm-hmm.
on like a friend level.
Okay.
And so that is like more to process. So socially and personally, there's just a lot of moving parts that I feel like I need to tend to, and it's just a lot to process. And then professionally, right now, I'm very much in a transition. I'm like relaunching, or not relaunching, redefining my products, which is both exciting and it's also a little nerve-wracking because the money doesn't just come in overnight, and a
Mm.
few of my income streams have shut down. So real talk, there are ebbs and flows in the
Mm.
entrepreneurial journey, and sometimes they are more lucrative than other times. And
Yeah. Yeah.
when a few income streams shut down, that's like something that you need to look at. And
Hmm.
I'm just working on having an abundance mindset, not a lack mindset, and keeping my habits healthy, which I'm not always excellent at. And yeah, it's just, I feel like it's a transition period and I'm kind of like ready for it to be over.
Mm. Hmm. 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 Okay.
Is that enough?
Yeah, yeah. Or you could keep going if there's anything else that's kind of in your mind that you feel like is, if not, that's also cool. But
Um, it's interesting because I feel like a lot of things have been happening lately where they're very challenging and I have to do a lot of work on myself to move through it. And at the same time, I feel very supported, which is
mm,
so nice. Like, that's something that I, as an only child, like really struggle with sometimes is
hmm. Oh, the tears are
now the
coming.
tears are gonna come.
This is the real. Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Um, I struggle with feeling like I'm supported, like I'm surrounded. And
Hmm.
so seeing evidence of that in all these different situations has been really nice lately. And,
Mm.
family is not just the people that you are related to by blood, which is special. Um,
Hmm.
it's like a therapy sesh.
Yeah,
um,
it's good.
yeah.
Movement of energy is always a good thing,
Yeah.
whether it
Get
be
this
crying or
shit out.
punching something. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for that.
Whew.
Yes, yes. So there are some things that started kind of speaking to me from what um, yeah. So yeah, this makes total sense now. This always happens every time. Like when they're talking, I'm like, oh shit, none of this is making fucking sense. Like, how am
Yeah.
I gonna pull this together? Like what? But then looking at this now, it makes total sense. So the first thing I saw when I tuned into your energy, was like bubbles, like you blow bubbles floating through
Uh-huh.
the air, and
Uh-huh.
on like a summer's day, and 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 also simultaneously Big Bird from Sesame Street. Okay, like I know how weird this sounds, but the vibe from that was childishness, like play, like fun,
Uh-huh.
like the thing that is your energy or whatever, your soul or whatever you want to call it, is asking of you right now is to just give yourself a break and just play.
Yeah.
Because the other messages that I was getting, also the last time I scanned you, I got red was coming through like boom boom boom, and I
Uh-huh.
think that it was at a point in your life where you were needing to be grounded. You were feeling like just a lot of heat, like in your life, like a lot of, like, there was pain, there was
Yeah.
like lots
Anger.
going on, there was anger, like all this kind of stuff. Then this time I got green, like bright green, like grass green. And all of these things are kind of tying into this. It's like, this is a time for you, like you said, transition of freshness. It's like
Mm-hmm.
freshness, it's summer, it's playtime. And this also ties in, you'll see how this all ties in later. I'm getting so excited. Um, and another image that I saw, like, that came in very clearly was like, that point, it, that point, like when you were there, when you were in your mother's like womb, and you were like an egg, and then you split into your first two parts of your first cells. You know
Mm-hmm.
that scene? You've seen that probably in like science videos.
Yeah.
Um, and it's kind of like you're growing, like at the
I'm doing that right
deepest
now.
level, but you can't see it. It's so minute, it's so small, you can't see it. And then this pulls into something that I pulled later, which is the card, which we'll talk about later, is that your mind is very, like, busy, and it's wanting to like grab onto all these different things to be like, over here, over there, if I do this, if I do that. But it's like, what's happening for you right now is so, like, I'm getting chills talking about this, because this is real truth. It's so deep, but it's so quiet, and it's
Yeah.
calm, and it's gentle, and it's beautiful, and it's like the word coming into my mind right now is, it's like an orchestra. Like, you can't, there's like such a beauty to it, there's such a peacefulness to it, and such like an innocence to it. But it's in gestation. You're still in gestation. You were in gestation when we talked before. You still are. But like, it's the greenness, the playfulness. It's saying to you, what they're saying is, have some fun,
Mm-hmm.
because right now something's going on below. It's fresh. It's new. It's gonna be like bright. It's gonna be like the summer. Maybe it's gonna come in the summer. Maybe that's why I was getting so many summery vibes. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
time frame. Um, but it's happening all beneath the surface right now. It's just, you got to nurture it. It's like a little
Yeah.
baby that in the very beginning you have to take really good care. Um, and speaking of which, maybe you're gonna have like a freaking kid. I don't know, but I also saw an no, you won't. I also saw like an image of, like, in your belly area, like your solar plexus, like white, bright white light, and like sparkle, like glitter. And this light was, and it's like, it's your magic. And I think that the embryo is also happening in the same area, but it's like, that's where your magic is. It's in you yet. What you really know to be your magic in the world is not out yet. You have
Yeah.
not yet to experience yourself on that level. And it's so powerful, but it's like brewing beneath the surface. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm crying because because you're just saying a lot of things that other people have been saying to me recently
Ah,
in different words, and so I don't take that synchronicity lightly. And
yeah.
I literally had someone put their hand on my stomach today and be like, there's a lot of energy there. I was like,
That's so
they were like,
funny.
is this okay if I do this? I was like, yeah,
Yeah, sure. That's
feels great.
good. There you go. See, so like, you're radiating that, like people are already noticing that. And the important thing to note, I think, for you is because your mind is quite busy, is like focus on the fun, focus on the trust in knowing that it's happening
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And it's like, say you are pregnant, what you want to do is feed this baby all the good nutrients, especially in the beginning. You want to take prenatal vitamins. Your prenatal vitamins is like fun,
Yeah.
going out and playing. You know what I mean? That's your
Yeah.
prenatal vitamin for this, what's going to be coming for you. um, and I also got an image of like a reptile, not even specific reptile, but like the skin. And it was like you're also shedding old things right now, which is painful at the same time, and it's uncomfortable. But because you're kind of like, oh, like I gotta like get out of
Yeah.
this like old skin, like but you're shedding your old ways. So time of transition can be tough because not only are you shedding your old ways, you're questioning what's next. But like the message here for you, very strong, is like it's
Faith.
fucking there, and
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do to diminish it. So trust because it's there. You don't need to worry, kind of a thing. And then I got a picture of you with like a baseball cap on, and you were at like a dugout, and you were at like a huge stadium. And the message for me, and you can take this as you will, is that you're almost up at bat. It's the same message in different images. Like now that
Yeah.
I see it, it's like a very clear message, but they're giving me like 10 different ways to tell it to you. It's like
Yeah.
you've got your cap on.
I love this
You're
shit so
about to
much.
you're about to head up to first base. You're about to head up to home base. Not first, sorry, baseball people, home base. You're about to get up there in front of your stadium and like take your at bat. You know what I mean? But you're just putting your cap on now. You're just getting ready. You're in the dugout. And then another thing, and maybe this is a trip you need to take, but I saw you hula dancing in Hawaii, and I didn't know. Maybe I was like, maybe it's not Hawaii. Maybe it's like the dancing. Maybe it's fun, more fun. She needs to have fun.
Yeah.
But then, and it was something about your bare stomach. So there's a lot going on in your stomach right now, and you do your
I,
bare
I was gonna say I told you about my naked walks.
your naked walks,
Not
bra
naked.
on,
Not
belly.
naked. Yes, I
Um,
walk in a sports bra in the morning to let my belly breathe and let it get sun.
yeah, which is very good. And I think what was coming up is I think perhaps a trip to Hawaii. I don't know. Maybe consider this. Maybe it will come up for you, but like I kept seeing, I was like, oh, maybe it's the dancing, maybe it's whatever. But then I saw dolphins was the next picture very clearly. And so maybe there's a trip to Hawaii in your future, some kind of travel. I don't know. But there was something there that like Hawaii is a good place for you right now, or for a trip to come
The
soon.
nature.
And yeah, and just the ocean and the
It's
fun.
such a feminine place too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the playfulness, that's a huge thing, is like nourishing the side of you that is not analytical, nourishing the side of you that is dance, that is flow. Like Hawaii has like a certain chill flow to it. The people are
Yeah.
like, like what's this, hang loose, hang loose.
Aloha mahalo.
Oh, right. Yeah, so those are the images that I saw. So just to kind of wrap it all up in a bow, it's a time of transition for you. Something is coming. It is coming slowly, innocently, beautifully in its own time. In the meantime, breathe, play, focus on having fun. That's from now until the summer. Just focus on having fun, and get in that kind of energy. Okay, then I pulled the cards for you. The first card, and it's from what is her name? Now I'm pulling a blank, but I have these cards on my phone. Actually, it's an app, and it's called. Anyways, I'll figure it out later because I have your cards actually up, so I don't want to put them down. The first card I pulled was the Human Gift, and that card was basically talking about trust, which is, and continuing to honor your heart. Now, you talked about a situation at the beginning of this call that was making you uncomfortable, and it was a situation where boundaries were crossed, and you felt, I don't know what the right word is for it. You felt like your heart was a bit toyed with. You felt like boundaries were crossed, and I think also I don't know if this certain person is the person that contacted you or not. But this card is a lot about heart. It was a lot about trust. So it wasn't that person we're thinking about, but it's just talking about continuing to honor your heart and that feeling in your heart, because your brain was saying, oh, I don't feel like I want to have this conversation with this person. I don't want to be the one to be like, oh, you crossed the line and make a deal out of it. But the card is saying, honor your heart and surrender to what the situation is. Release the need to be the girl that doesn't bring it up. That perfection. Release the perfection on all levels, not just this one situation, but on, it's very much ties into what we're talking about, is just to have fun, but on a different level here. It's like, release the need to be the girl who doesn't do that, because you have to honor what's true to you. You have to honor your heart.
And that's like part of everything I stand for.
Exactly. Yeah. And even that picture in the back, like, that's like Bold Life Movement, that pink, that's heart, right? So that was like the soft one. And after I pulled out, I was like, that's not it. Like, that's not the full deal. Like, that was just a little like blip. You need to hear this about this specific situation.
Yeah.
But the next card I got, I was like, I don't know if I should read this whole card out to her because it's so good. It's called the Whirling Goddess. And to me, that is you in 2 words, Whirling Goddess, because you're a goddess and your head is doing this all the time, like tornado. And so basically what this card was saying is, like, you're using your mind a lot. It's time for you to be in your body. It's time for you to get out of your mind. I'll read little bits of it for you. Yeah. And okay,
People can skip ahead in their podcast app if they don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a general. It's basically saying that there's somewhere you're meant to be. It is here now in this moment. There's a gift right under your nose, and fragrant wine in your glass, gleaming red as the most precious rubies. To be here now, you must pass through the keyhole, but your head will tell you that it's not possible unless the door is unlocked, even though your body is passing through the keyhole of that locked door into the endless world beyond. So I think that's happening with you. You're getting a lot in touch with your inner, like your spirit, that side of you, your energy, but your head is still like running the show. And your spirit, this kind of part of you, the part of you that would have a session like this with a person, is like, let's get the fuck, like, we're already gone, man. And the head's like, where? Like, where? Yeah. What's happening? So, yeah, exactly. How is this happening? So leave your mind to be in the struggles for the moment without you laying witness to it. Your mind will become like a dog howling for its master to return, even as she steps out the front door. So your mind's going to get loud. It's going to get real fucking loud. But you'd be like, do your thing. Like, whatever, mind. Like, run it. Like, run to the point where it's like, it's tired. And it says temporary frustration. The mind will chew on everything like a puppy that's been left alone at home, and it will chew up the fucking house, but then it will get exhausted and it will fall asleep, kind of a thing. And so just leave it, trusting that this part of you that you're now getting in touch with is just as strong as the mind. It's just going to take you to trust it. And this card is bringing you a message that you're at the point of growth where your mind can hold you back rather than urge you forward. If you have, like so many, used your mind to support you, to shore up your sense of self in the world, and to gain a sense of certainty about how the world works, then it is no easy leap. It will seem as though you are being asked to pass through the keyhole. Of course, your mind will stop and argue for all the reasons why the door should be opened instead of remaining closed, making the task seem much harder than it needs to be. But this is the mind's resistance. Don't place too much stock in the claims that life should be other than it is. You're being asked to dance rather than understand, to lay thoughts to rest and come alive. It is the bravest, most trusting soul that dares to put the mind to one side and say, tonight we dance. My heart and I are in the house, blah, 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 you're dancing. And yeah, it says basically you're ready to see things. You're ready to live beyond what your mind is telling you is possible. And you just need to put the need for answers and plans and assurances and explanations out of your world right now. And you don't need to wait for permission or explanation from the mind or anything. And just let go. And if someone asks you what you're doing next, say, I don't know. And be okay with it, because you don't need to know. and because it's already happening within you, but you just don't know, and you know that it's coming though. And then it says this brings you a special message. If there is an issue apparently unsolvable or unknowable in your life right now, the divine is handling it. It's in the middle of it, working through it, the knot, unraveling it. Don't worry, and give yourself permission to take the night off from worry. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And the word, and to tie this all up in a bow, the word that I pulled also was detachment. So that's your word. It's moving forward. Yeah.
I told you that a friend gave me a cutting the cord spell thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Spell recipe thing for my birthday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's similar to that. Similar. Yeah. And like I said, it's the same message said over and over again in different ways, because sometimes you just need to hear it in all the ways. Yep. Because it resonates with little blips here and there, like different areas, and it just kind of all comes together to be like very solid.
No, it's very synthesized.
Yeah.
You have synthesized it all.
Well, that's why I kind of like to hear you talk before, because if I start telling you about Bubbles and fucking Big Bird, you're going to be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I was laying at the springs earlier, and I'm laying in the grass and I'm looking up, and the sky is perfectly blue. The leaves are almost neon green in front of them with like the sunlight shining through. And I said to the person I was with, I love laying in the grass because it makes me feel like I'm a child again. When you didn't have cell phones, you literally just laid and look at the clouds, and, you know, we're out in nature playing. And so it was so interesting when you brought up the playing and being outside, and man, a lot of focus on my tummy lately.
Yeah, I mean,
what you doing down there, girl?
The tummy is like it's like where a baby is housed. It's growth, right?
Yeah, where we birth things.
And there's a lot of energy in the stomach for a lot of people. Like I can speak to this myself. That's where my anxiety sits, and that's where if I get stoked on something, it's vibing there, you know. So it's obviously it's apparent to the outside world too, because people want to touch your, you know, naked stomach.
That's so funny. And I don't even know what book it was that I was reading lately, but they were talking about the gut and how it might have been Firestarter Sessions, but how when you say, I feel it in my gut, like you actually, there's a chemical reaction going on, you know, that's related to your intuition. That's right. Like it's scientific. It's not woo. You know?
It communicates with your brain. The gut, I think it has just as many.
Yes, that's what it is.
I don't know if it's nerves or whatever, but it's just as many things going on, or if not more, than your brain. So it is like a second brain in your body.
If I can find the note on my Kindle app, on my phone, or on my Audible, whichever one it is, then I'll post it in the show notes as well. But it's essentially that it's. I love the way you drink your water out of those things, by the way.
Yeah, glass.
Yeah, I just love it. It's so luxurious.
I mean, plastics F with your hormones, and I ain't about to like F with those things, because they is powerful bitches. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
So detachment. So this is a card that you drew? I just want to
I have this app on my phone. If anybody wants to download it, I think it's like a little bit, I'm not affiliated with it at all, but it's called Virtue's Reflection. And they're just, if you want to see it in the video, like this is your card. It's detachment.
Oh, what does it say?
It says, detachment is experiencing our feelings without allowing them to control us. We step back and look at things objectively. We let go and accept what we cannot change. We detach from others' choices, knowing that their spiritual work is not ours to do. We choose how we will act rather than just reacting. We step away from harmful cravings. Detachment is a deep breath of peace and patience in response to unexpected anger. We can listen without losing ourselves. With detachment, we see our mistakes honestly, make amends, and start afresh. Detachment allows us to be in the world, but not of it. It frees us to lead our lives with grace.
I'm really glad you read that, because that resonates so much in regards to the situation that I was talking about.
I was thinking that too as I read it.
And I honestly kind of feel like that's what I've been doing. And one of the things that I we've talked about this a lot offline. You know, I can be very objective and I can sort of detach from the situation enough to know like nothing is life ending that's happening to me. Even when I was extremely upset about my breakup, like there was lessons in all of it. There's lots to be grateful for. And I think where I struggled and where you and other people kind of called me out was like, don't detach so much that you don't give yourself a chance to feel through the emotions.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
so I think that it's a fine line, and I'd be interested how you would suggest that someone go about both feeling through the emotions and then also practicing that detachment. What does that look like?
I think even allowing yourself to feel through the emotions is detachment in a way. Because if you're attached to that you should be a certain way through this situation, then you are attached to that and you're holding on too tight, and that's resistance in your life, and that's not allowing flow. And flow sometimes means feeling the emotions. So, and I think too, just like detaching from any outcome. So if I don't feel these emotions, then it's better because I'm da 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 da. And you're starting to like attach yourself to all sorts of ideas of how you should be and what should be where and what the result is going to be. And it's like just detachment is like release in a way, which means release from all of it. So if
Yeah.
it is that you need to sit there and cry for hours or days or months, so be it.
Right.
Detach from it having to be anything else other than what it naturally is. Like we're humans, it's like animals don't sit and think like I should really detach from this. Like I'm, like they just do. They just are. And
Yeah.
so and
They're
we are
more
just
present.
yeah, and like our minds are a beautiful thing, and it helped us a lot in this world. Like I'm sitting here with a phone, and I can just pull a card because somebody's brain decided that it should be a good idea to make a fucking computer. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. But at the same time, I think we've disconnected from the part of ourselves that is this woo woo, that is this soul stuff,
Yeah.
and that is the part of ourselves that is able to detach because our brain will tell us to attach to all sorts of different things for the sake of a beneficial, something better to happen. But it's like, it's in the detachment of those things that the good stuff comes.
Right.
It's
Because
just the braveness to detach,
letting
being
your
brave enough.
mind run on a loop that will
Oof.
literally drive you mad. I mean, that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
craziness. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, when I recognize that I've felt very patient with this situation that we were talking about so
Mm-hmm.
vaguely, sorry listeners. Um I felt like, you know what, I haven't been able to have the conversation yet. It will happen soon.
Yeah,
I know that we'll connect and I'll be able to like kind of feel give the opportunity to feel heard and to say what I
yeah,
need to say and to kind
yeah.
of honor myself in that way. But I haven't felt rushed to,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, because
Yeah,
because you don't need the added pressure.
yeah, it'll
You got
happen.
enough going on. It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll present itself to you. It's put it out there and let it go, and it will
I,
come back.
I can't wait to re-listen to this. Thank you so much for doing the reading. I'm so
No
glad
problem.
you agreed.
Yeah, this is actually really fun for me. Yeah, and like I said at the beginning, I do this kind of unofficially, but if you're listening to this and this like really, you know, spoke to you or you feel like you do want to do a session with me, I do them. They're like $100 a pop, and it's like an hour and 15 or kind of whatever it ends up being. I don't really try to put too much of a time pressure on it.
Yeah.
And you can check it out on the Real Rebel, not the Real Rebel, but realrebelpodcast.com and under Rebel Sessions.
And what else would they be getting in that extra like 35 minutes? What else would you normally cover?
Well, I do the scan before. So I spend 15 minutes before the call, 15, 20 minutes. And then I also will do a physical body scan before. So the call itself is maybe like an hour or 45 minutes because I'm actually doing a lot of work beforehand. And then there's that movement, like I said, of the physical energy. And then we just do this. We basically just go through and we just talk it out. Like, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Like, I detach from it having to be any certain thing because sometimes things come up and they are what they need to be. It's
Can I
so
ask you to screenshot the cards that you drew for me so I can include them in the show notes?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If that's like a thing.
Yeah. I can do that. Yeah.
Cool. So are
Yeah.
you going to anything like this for yourself while you're in
Yep.
Bali?
Yeah. I have a
Yeah.
psychic that I see, and I have a coach that I talk to, that I just
Yeah.
spoke both of them, and they're both kind of, like this,
Intuitive. Yeah.
intuitive. And I have found it immensely, helpful. It's something that when you think about, should I spend this money on a coach? And should I
Hmm.
spend this money on a psychic? And then it's like, yeah. Like after you do it, you're like, oh, can I do it again? Because
Yeah.
it's like a fast track. It's just like you get the download, you get it all at once, and you can kind
Yep.
of move forward, and that feels so good. And it just like takes you, it levels you forward, it levels you up, it takes you to the next space on the game board,
Yeah.
of the board game. And yeah,
We were
anyway.
we were talking about this with a group of girlfriends here in Austin recently, and one of them had had her palm read in New York City,
Hmm.
and the reader told her that he couldn't see a long lifeline, that she was going to die young. And the other friend and I were like, that's not how it's done. Like, that's
No,
not
no, no,
what
no,
an intuitive, medium, psychic, whatever
no,
word you want to say, like an actual professional person doing this, they wouldn't give you that information
no,
because
no.
there's for like a million different reasons. So,
Well, and it's something that it's like maybe you have to be careful, because that's why you don't tell somebody what's going to happen,
right.
because you don't fucking know either. And
Yeah,
even if
and
you
free
do,
will is
and
very powerful.
well, and it could be that the energy that they're putting out right now maybe is that is where they're headed. But
Right.
like it changes. This world is like ever evolving. It's nothing is stone here. Nothing is set in stone. So
Yeah.
that's another good thing, right? It's what you want to bring into the world and what you want to bring into your life, not what is happening like to you.
Yeah.
It's that saying, it's happening for you, and you just have to tune in and like use it and make it good for yourself. And I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe she
And
just like clenched her hands in a certain way that her line was always like this, but I don't think
well, and the
that's,
thing is,
yeah,
like,
professional.
it's not professional. Like, you wouldn't say
Hmm.
that. So,
Yeah.
anyway, I think that why it's so powerful for me to hear your reading is you're saying things that I feel in my body to be true. I'm like, yes, that feels apt. That feels like
Hmm.
what I see for myself coming in the next, few months,
Hmm.
year, whatever. And also it justifies how I feel currently.
Yeah.
So it's just a nice mirror, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It gives you peace of mind,
Yeah.
which is so important if you do want to actually bring these things into the world, because if you're going crazy, you're in a state of resistance, and if you're in a state of resistance, it's going to take forever for shit to come your way. So it's like it
Exactly.
almost gives you the permission to let go,
Yeah.
because you
Let
kind of
go and let
know.
God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's
I
fun.
love it. And I always feel like so mellow. You didn't even do a body scan on me, and I'm still like, ah.
It's that peace, right? It's that inner knowing,
Yeah.
that trust,
Yeah.
and it's almost like hearing it from someone else makes it feel even more real. And there's such a nice feeling to that. Yeah.
And it jives so well with the content that I'm consuming right now. All the little hits I'm getting from my friend groups, from
Hmm.
the new people that I'm meeting, the energy healers. It's like I'm
Yeah.
getting hit upside the head to follow more body centric,
Hmm.
like a path. I don't
Yeah.
know a good way to
Your
say
head has
that.
gotten you so far, and now it's starting to hinder you.
Yep.
And your body, your energetic body is like, yeah, my shift. It's time for you to like hop back in that back seat there and let me take the wheel,
Yeah.
because yeah. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised that we met, and I'm not surprised that you love doing these sessions, and that I like, sure, I'll do it.
I have to say, I don't think I've said this on air. When I was on my way to Bali, which for anyone who hasn't listened to the other episodes was extremely last minute to
Hmm.
help myself get over a breakup I didn't see coming.
Hmm.
On the flight there, I set the intention. I was like, I am going here because I want to meet healers. I want to meet and energetic healer who will give me a session for free. I literally put that out there. I was like, I don't want to have to pay for it. I want this person to just like be my friend.
Yeah.
Within 24 hours, I think, of being there, you and I met, and you had just done an energy scan for our friend Jenna Herbert, who's on the Real Rebel podcast. I'll link to that episode. It's hilarious. And I was like, oh my God, will this girl do this for me? And we immediately hit it off, and I was like, duh, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. And that was kind of a meeting that was like, you couldn't have tried. And that's like, well, I'm here right now. I'm not really meeting much of anybody, but it's like, because it's not meant to be right now. Things that are meant to be will literally fall into your lap if you get into the space of allowing that to actually happen in the first place.
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening and you're wanting something in your life, you're wanting something to happen, give up the fight, put the gloves away, and go play. Go do something fun.
It's the same as all those people who were like, oh, I met my soulmate when I stopped looking.
Yeah, it's exactly it. That's why you hear that so often, because it's true.
Like it's a thing because it's true. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like this is running. Like, we just didn't... Yeah, this is like...
Well, I could sit here and stare at your beautiful hair all day.
I mean, I do have stuff to do.
Not watching the video version of this. You should be.
That's a lot of pressure on my hair.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I'm sad that Uncut is ending for... I'm sorry, hashtag Uncut is ending for a bit, but it's good. We're going to go off. We're going to do our things, and then...
Yeah, maybe it'll become its own thing entirely.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting inspired.
Maybe when I'm not in Bali and the time zone is so weird. But
yes.
Yeah.
Side note, for anyone who wants to have a co-host, maybe pick one in a closer time zone.
Yeah. Make life easier.
A little bit.
Yeah. All right, well.
All right, Chica. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No problem. Peace.
Peace.